Hi, my name is Catherine McKinney, and it is December 14th, 2025. Okay, so hi again, my name is Catherine, and today I will be presenting my presentation on the anatomy and enzymology of fat absorption. So this presentation really focuses on how the digestive system uses both communication and coordination to successfully digest and absorb dietary fats. So unlike carbohydrates and proteins, fats are kind of hydrophobic, which makes them more challenging to digest and absorb. And because of this, fat absorption requires multiple different organs to work together, which include the stomach, liver, gallbladder, pancreas, and small intestine. And throughout this presentation, I'll be explaining how enzymes, bile, hormones, and transport systems communicate to ensure that fats are properly broken down and delivered to the body's tissues. So I really want to start off talking about kind of the overview of fat absorption. And to start out, dietary fats are primarily composed of what we call triglycerides, along with phospholipids and cholesterol. So these molecules are essentially mainly used for energy storage, hormone production, and cell membrane structure. But their hydrophobic nature means that they can't be dissolved in water-based digestive fluids like carbohydrates and some proteins might. So fat digestion really begins in the stomach, where both lingual and gastric lipases will start breaking down the triglycerides. However, although this is where it begins, the digestion is pretty limited because fats tend to like to clump together. So we really see the majority of fat digestion and absorption will occur in the small intestine. This shift really requires coordination between gastric emptying, pancreatic secretion, and bile release to ensure that fats arrive in the intestine under the right conditions for digestion. So anatomy involved in absorption. So like I mentioned before, there are several different organs that contribute to fat absorption, each having their own specialized role. So the liver will produce bile, which contains bile salts that are necessary for what we call emulsifying the fats. And it's important to note that the liver will produce it, and the gallbladder stores and concentrates this bile, releasing it only when fatty foods enter the duodenum and it's kind of signaled to release. It took me a little while to remember that bile might be produced by the liver, but it's the gallbladder that releases it. After this bile is released, the pancreas will then secrete digestive enzymes, including pancreatic lipase, as well as bicarbonate to help neutralize the stomach acid that came with. This helps create an environment where the lipase can actually function optimally to break down this fat. The small intestine, mainly the duodenum and jejunum, provide a large surface area for this digestion and absorption to occur. And then it really is based then on the enterocytes that line that intestine, who contain special transporters and kind of like the internal machinery needed for lipid processing. And then after that, lacteals will help allow absorbed fats to enter the lymphatic system, kind of removing them from the digestive system. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the enzymology of fat absorption and fat breakdown. So fat digestion depends really on the coordinated action of several enzymes, as we mentioned before. Several organs are involved, so of course several enzymes are involved. So these kind of include like lingual and gastric lipases, like we mentioned before. These help initiate digestion in the stomach, especially in children, I believe. However, we learned in the module that pancreatic lipase is actually responsible for most of the triglyceride breakdown. So pancreatic lipase helps work alongside another molecule called colipase. This helps anchor the enzyme to like fat droplets in the presence of bile salts. This coordination is what ensures efficient digestion in the body. Additional enzymes such as phospholipase A2 help digest phospholipids, while cholesterol enterase frees cholesterol absorption, these enzymes are highly pH sensitive, which is why our body releases that pancreatic bicarbonate to help out during fat digestion. So next, because bile salts and emulsification kind of play such a huge role, at least I think they play such a huge role in fat digestion and absorption, I wanted to give them their own slide to talk about why they're kind of important. So bile salts play a crucial role in fat digestion because bile salts are amphipathic. This allows them to interact with both fat and water, which are both in the body at the same time. By surrounding these large fat globules, the bile salts will break them into smaller droplets, increasing the surface area for enzymatic digestion. Because the more surface area, the more enzymes can attack the fat and break it down more efficiently. So in addition to emulsification, bile salts also form micelles. These micelles kind of act as like transport vehicles that carry fatty acids, monoglycerides, and cholesterol through the very water environment in the intestine to the kind of the brush borders of the enterocytes. Without bile salts, this pancreatic bypass would definitely be far less effective, and this kind of helps highlight the importance of the coordination between different organ systems, and in this case, the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. So, kind of the absorption and transport of these lipids once they're broken down. So, once these lipid components reach the intestinal epithelium, they diffuse into the enterocytes. And inside these cells, fatty acids and monoglycerides are transported to the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, where they are then reassembled into triglycerides in the body. It's kind of funny to think that we break them down to transport them, and then we reassemble them again. These triglycerides are then packed with proteins to form kind of these little molecules called chylomicrons. And chylomicrons are like large, like fatty proteins called lipoproteins, of course, that can't exactly enter the blood capillaries directly. Instead, they need to enter the lacteals and travel through the lymphatic system before they're able to actually reach the bloodstream. This kind of unique pathway prevents sudden increases in blood lipid levels, if that makes sense, and demonstrates coordination between both the digestive and lymphatic system. Yet again, our body is made up of a bunch of systems who like to coordinate. This is just one example. So I kind of wanted to finish up with hormonal control and kind of a summary of what we talked about. Brief summary. So hormones help play a key role in coordination of fat digestion. There are a couple hormones I wanted to point out. The first one is cholecystokinin, or also known as CCK. This is released when fats enter the duodenum, and this CCK helps stimulate the gallbladder to release the bile and the pancreas to secrete digestive enzymes, while also slowing gastric emptying, which gives the body more time to break down these fats. Like I mentioned before, the bodies communicate using hormones, enzymes, and signals. This is how our body works, and this is one example of how the body senses that it has fat in the duodenum, so it tells so then CCK will then stimulate the gallbladder to release bile, and so on. Then secretin is actually released in response to acidic chyme, or the mixture of fat and all those lovely gastric juices, and stimulates bicarbonate secretion. This helps keep our body's pH optimal for the enzymatic activity, especially since we want to keep breaking down that fat and other foods that are also in the body, that are also coming into the body. So basically, in summary, fat absorption is a very highly coordinated process involving multiple organs, enzymes, and hormones, like other parts of our body. But communication between these systems ensures efficient digestion, absorption, and nutrient delivery. highlighting the complexity and precision of the digestive system. Thank you. I thought I had one more slide.